I can give a shout out to Survival Tech Nord too, and maybe even Larry Vickers. Although, some of us are using old pictures of ourselves on the channel profiles. Herbert Hassan, you're kind of guilty of that one. But it's during my service time I was really skinny. People kind of tease and push me around a little bit about that, so I didn't really have any apologies to make about getting bigger and stronger went along with bigger. I have not been to a real gym for a little while. I'm probably going to get a gym membership due to some lifestyle changes recently, and start doing real measurements on stuff. I actually, because I was downsizing, I sold my weights a couple months ago, and I noticed it in my arms and shoulders, because I used to just keep those by the desk, keep those by the bed. I had what I call the World of Warcraft workout, which is every time you get killed, you while the thing's kind of uploading, resetting, you do some push-ups, sit-ups, burpees, or pull some weights. And the weights was the easiest thing to deal with, because I could leave a couple of 30-pound dumbbells by the computer thing, and while the game's kind of resetting, get up and do a few reps. And believe me, I actually, my shoulders and everything got big. My gut stayed big. But the thing is, his shoulders and arms get big, you can kind of conceal that and still have a working physique. And that's where I get into something that, if you're older, you're bigger, you'll see a lot of roughneck construction dudes out there that have what we would call a working physique. And that's where being a little thicker, being a little heavier boned, eventually, I was skinny boned or younger. And the only reason I got big boned is because I kept the weight on for a long time. And I've been heavy for around 10 years now. Prior to that, I was like in the low 200s and pretty physically fit. My PT score is usually in about the 270s, 290s. Rarely did I get a 300. And when I was in the Marine Corps, I never got a 300. I think my best stuff was 260s, 270s back then. When I got out of the Marine Corps, went in the National Guard, there was a time period in the 90s where I was scoring high 2s. I'm not sure, I don't think I ever got a 300, because I was always a slow runner. And that just, it depends on how somebody does running. Okay, running is also a technique thing. And when you're talking about a working physique, we talk about a lot of this survival stuff, what we're actually going to be doing, that's where it matters. Okay, that's where it matters. It matters, and there's a lot of times I'll do a 10-12 hour day with barely a lunch break, not a lot of breaks. Other times, I'll start complaining when somebody wants to, have me on a shovel all day long. Just today, I only worked 2 hours, and the client was like, we knocked out our task. We knocked out our task fairly quickly. And the client was like, well, we get 2 hours, right? So here's a shovel, here's a wheelbarrow. The guy working with me kind of took it as a challenge. Like, let's do this. Let's knock this out and get out of here. And I was working a sweat. But working fitness is where it's going to matter when you're basically on a downward spiral for your physical age, and you need to earn money, and you probably have some expertise that you've developed in the things that you do, which make you more capable. Okay, there's a lot of jobs. Now, I'm not saying employment, because employers really want to adopt somebody in their prime, and they want to adopt somebody in their prime at the lowest price possible. And when I was in my physical prime, I was working at much less than I really should have been worth, because I didn't understand the negotiation process that's built into the whole employment thing. I didn't fully understand. I didn't know how to defeat that system of the process which is made to get workers in their prime at the lowest possible price under as many circumstances as possible. The only way you really get out of that is by going full-on union, and even then you're going to find yourself getting worked hard to make up for some of the older union guys, because they're kind of holding you, they're holding you hostage like a jealous pimp. And what's going to happen is they're going to tell the employers that for every one really good guy you get, you're going to have to get some of the, you're going to get one or two trainees, and then you're going to get one or two older guys that these guys got to carry, and that's kind of what happens in that. In the military, we all know that when we were in that E2 to E4 range, E5 range, you're going to be doing the grunt of the labor, the bulk of the hard labor. There's a reason they call Lance Corporals the backbone of the Marine Corps. It's your backbone that's going to be taking that stress most of the time. And in working fitness, when you're on a downward spiral of your useful work life, you really got to watch out for a lot. But you also want to watch out for, working fitness, which means a lot of repetitive motion injury stuff you got to avoid. And a lot of times that repetitive motion stuff is the stuff that builds cardio. So running, if you're over 35, running may do more harm than good. Bicycle riding's not as bad, swimming's not as bad, but you're going to have to make some adjustments in what sort of endurance exercises you have, and focus them a lot on the type of tasks that you could be doing or should be doing. For example, I'm carrying weight on the lower half. If I do a lot of running, walking, striding, my legs chafe, I'll develop warts and stuff. It's not pretty. Believe me, I'm not going to do any nude modeling anytime soon. That's for sure. I'm not going to do shit in shorts either. I got to wear boxer briefs so that I don't chafe. And the thing is there is such a thing as being heavy and in decent shape, and I see that when I'm carrying extra calories on my body. I can do a hard day if I'm getting paid well, and maybe I got to pop a few ibuprofens to get through it. I'm going to power through. But remember, you heal slower. You can't do repetitive, stomping, anything that's a lot of pressure on your legs or knees. Tripping and falling is a bigger deal. I was just watching some stuff from Man of Many Things. He's another guy, middle-aged guy. He took a fall. Now he's messed up. He's been out of work for a little while. These things can happen to us, and shit can hit our fan when it's not really on the fan of the rest of society. But the thing to focus on is working fitness. That's really it, because your clock is ticking. Your biological clock is ticking, and you want to be able to perform tasks. So that you want to do flexibility exercises, upper body strength. Your body can recover fairly quickly and effectively from upper body exercises, so you might as well do it. Might as well do some arm stuff, some of the strength stuff, low speed, strong type stuff. If you can do sit-ups, do sit-ups. The other thing is, your body isn't going to process food and meals the way it used to. I just went to an all-I-could-eat restaurant, and under normal circumstances, when I was younger, I could go to an all-I-could-eat restaurant and really just empty that place out. I was a three plate plus dessert type of guy, and I was 3 heaping plates plus dessert type of guy. Today I had I think I had a croissant sandwich for breakfast, no lunch, took an early dinner, went to an all-I-could-eat Asian place, at 2 plates plus a tiny little dessert. Within an hour after leaving, I couldn't hold it. Okay, I drank fluids when I was eating. About an hour after that, I had to take a crap, and I took a big old crap. My body is just not going to process that food. It's going to start rejecting food under those circumstances, and you're going to have to reduce the food volume. You think, oh yeah, I'm a Big Mac meal plus an extra sandwich guy, and you start getting over 40, 45, and your body just isn't going to process it. And when I was 215 pounds, man, I was like, give me a double Whopper with cheese and a value meal, supersize that bad boy, give me another sandwich on the side. A few hours later, I'm ready for another meal. Nowadays, I just can't process that much food, and I'm heavier. So psychologically, you have to make that adjustment that you just can't eat like you used to. And you could try to eat like you used to, and you're just going to get sick, okay, or crap it out, or barf it out. And the other thing is vinegar, okay. If you're craving vinegar, go ahead and just sometimes I'll drink salad dressing. Okay, I'm craving vinegar. Balsamic vinegar, I could just there's times I could just have a shot glass of balsamic vinegar. I did a little research on that and found out that also has to do with, when you get older, you talk about southern guys having that beer gut. A lot of that has to do with the buildup, and the other thing that goes along with the whole Atkins diet is that goes along with a buildup of yeast in your digestive tract. Okay, yeast can come into your digestive tract a number of ways, and actually it's more likely to come into your system when you eat fresh foods than when you eat processed foods, interestingly enough. And when you mix fresh and sugary processed foods, and you've got yeast in your digestive tract, that's where things start happening in your digestive tract. In some ways they're a good thing because they're producing other nutrients, that the yeast in your digestive starts producing other nutrients and other enzymes that can be good for you, but it takes room to do that, and that's where that gut comes from. If you want to reduce that gut, you need to take in a lot of alcohol, vinegar, stuff that's going to kill off that yeast, process it through, stop it working, get your system to process it through. And when you drink alcohol, you're going to have to make the transition from beer to distilled spirits. And a lot of people don't want to talk about this because they're like, well, you're giving bad advice on drinking alcohol. The thing is, beer is volume. Beer has carbohydrate volume. Distilled spirits is basically alcohol chemical, and that's going to do more to kill off some of that yeast in your gut, reduce its size, get that stuff moving through you, and get it out of your system. And the vinegar is going to have a lot of the same effect. And so you increase the vinegar and alcohol content in your system, that helps purge things. And the other thing you got to look into is working fitness, being active, doing stuff. Squats tends to be a low impact exercise. Everything's got to be done something where there's no bouncing on the bones and joints. Swimming is a good thing, but you got to, and then you're going to have to do specialized cardio. There's some videos you can see online with Jack LaLanne's fascia exercises. I do that. Then there's Sylvester Stallone's workout. That is basically yoga. But you look at this guy who's close to 70. Obviously it works. Anyway, so I'll talk a little bit more about Fat Guy Fitness in the future. People who know me personally know that I do physical labor, okay, and I'm fat. But I found there is a way you can be fat and in shape of sorts so you can still do your thing effectively.